Thank you all for coming to today's July 9th Select Board meeting, regular meeting at 4:30. First on the docket is to amend and approve the minutes from June 25th. I need a motion for said minutes.
I will make a motion to approve those minutes. However, I wasn't here, so I'm not in a position to
so maybe we'll have to table those for the next time.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so, all right, so I'll take a motion to table.
Motion to table the minutes from the Selectmen's meeting, June 25th, 2015.
All right, I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Update on the action items from last week. Bill and I were working on the doublehead parking issue. I have a little news to report on that. We did receive some correspondence from the Beal family saying that they weren't willing to, or able, I should say, to make a move for the next couple of years due to the fact that they wanted to settle the estate and take their time doing that and you know, get all the brothers together. I guess some of them are out in Idaho, I believe, or one brother's out in Idaho. Makes it complicated. Probably going to have to come up with a plan B, I guess, in the very near future, since nothing's going to happen for the next couple of years, at least at that end. I did talk to Jimmy, this is the Forest Service, and they wanted to get to meet with all three of us at one point. I don't know if you saw that email.
I did, and I could make myself available for something here, certainly during the summer.
Okay, so maybe we should try to make a plan for that.
If it's a morning meeting, depending on what I've already got, I can make myself available in the morning. I don't have anything.
All right, we'll see what Bill has, but we'll try to negotiate something like that, Julie, if we could. And like I said, the options are the New Path parking lot and the one that we actually visited, which was right on the edge of the Forest Service property, which is cut in between both of us. And those are kind of the two options, I guess, that are still on the table, or doing nothing. I guess the third option. So,
okay,
it's kind of update on that. Anybody have any comments on that? Or all right. Everybody else is pretty clear. Next meetings coming up will be July 23rd, August 13th, August 27th, September 10th, and September 24th. Unless we have any changes, do you see anything in there that affects you? All right, very good. Moving on to police report. The chief isn't here today, so I think we'll have to, I know he's got some stuff to deal with the accident up in the Notch the other day, so I know that's an unfortunate situation for all. I'm deeply sorry for all those involved, but I'm sure he's working on that, if nothing else. I'm sure he's very busy. Couldn't make it tonight. So we'll move on to Dorothy Solomon and the Veterans Transitional Housing.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the time to speak to you this afternoon. I come as a representative of Starting Home, transitional housing program for homeless veterans. I'm here to ask your help to persuade the Carroll County delegation that providing the wings of the old nursing home for this project is good for the county as well as for the veterans. Back about 2.5 years ago, I saw a man standing on the corner of Route 16 and 153 with a sign reading, "Homeless veteran, please help." Normally, we do not see or recognize homelessness, but this was different. He was announcing his needs. I went to see Larry Ayers, then commander of American Legion Post 46 in Conway, and had a long discussion of veterans' homelessness. Larry, who is now vice chair of the committee, told me he had long wanted to do something for the vets in this regard, but was stymied by the lease agreement of the post. Thus began the project. What I've learned about homelessness is that it's there, but unrecognized. Some homeless people live outdoors or in their vehicles, but most are couch surfing. They stay with relatives or friends when they can. Carroll County is the only county in New Hampshire that does not have even a shelter for any homeless people, with the exception of Starting Point, a shelter for battered women. Because of this, coming up with numbers of homeless veterans is doubly difficult. The latest number seems to be about 40 homeless veterans in the county, but this is not by far any means complete. One of the things I've learned about veterans is they are not always asked about their veteran status. If one doesn't ask, they don't tell. Having overseen the building of a new county nursing home in Ospey, I was familiar with the old building. It was no longer viable to use as a nursing home because it could not meet the standards that the state had put out. Among the problems was that it was too small for the residents, the number of residents, and the halls were too narrow for their safety. But that didn't mean that the building could not be retrofitted for another purpose. We brought in an architect and a contractor to look at the facility, and they found it suitable for use as a housing unit for veterans with necessary improvements. We are proposing to start renovations with the roof of the building. Home Depot is willing to provide the material for the project, and we have several construction people who are willing to do the work gratis for the veterans. Once we have that done, we propose to go forward with the remaining updates in a similar manner. What we cannot do with donated labor and materials, we expect to get funded by grants. We have an experienced grant writer whose work has been paid for by a donation from Memorial Hospital. Once this building is repaired and ready for occupancy, we can provide housing for 17 veterans, both male and female. We will have a staff to oversee the day-to-day running of the program. Vets will have their needs met when whether they be health-related or job-related. One of our board members is a professional veteran advocate, and another is a naval veteran with existing ties to various shipyards for jobs. Veterans will be able to get help with job training. Richard Cousins and Wessam Mohmad of New Hampshire Works are both on board to help the veterans find employment once they are ready. Once employed, we will help the veterans find housing. Helping our veterans in this way helps the towns as well. Welfare officers are not always aware of those in need in their towns, and even when someone comes for help, the question of whether they are a veteran is not always asked. In any case, these men and women have given their all for our country, and we should be ready to do whatever it takes to see that they are taken care of in their time of need. What I ask the town of Jackson today is a letter of support for the use of the wings that I can give to the delegation. I have I left you some picture of the design for the use of the building. It's only one wing there, but the other wing is similar. I've also left you a card. What we have already started is an outreach program called Veterans Connection. And you can see on the card that we have now 4 sites where veterans can get help. These veterans don't have to be homeless. If they need help, Mike Bryan will be the one to be there and help them. Make an appointment with him and he will help you, help them. And I also have a
30-second
promo. It's a promo that's going on Valley Vision and Wolfboro, whatever they call it, Wolfboro.
30 seconds with your permission, I'll show you the...
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that could be.
Recording this, Martha.
Yeah, maybe more than 30 seconds. Come on.
Men and women who have served our country and came home to no job,
Okay.
no network of support, living on the street or in homeless shelters. Maybe they're suffering from post-traumatic stress and on their own, can't reach out for help. Too proud, maybe. New Hampshire is home to too many homeless veterans, living in tents, couch surfing, or staying in emergency shelters. Starting Home is a veterans advocacy group dedicated to providing transitional housing for male and female veterans. Help us help them.
That'll be on our website.
Cool.
And where else? Just the website?
And on the local.
And, yeah, the Valley Vision, I think, is doing some of it. Anyway,
So what we're asking, as I said, from you is just a letter of support. The delegation will meet in early August, it's August 10th, and sometime before then I would need the letter. Additionally, the problem is this. Without the confirmation from the delegation that we have these two wings for our use, we are having difficulty raising money from grants, because they need to know that we have someplace to put the money. And that's why I was told, I was advised by Karen Umberger, chair of the delegation, to come to the various selectmen's offices and get this kind of letter so that we can finally get this established. This was supposed to have been done in April, but the county has other problems at the moment.
I'm certainly in support of a letter of support for this project.
Absolutely, yeah. And so obviously your goal is to get letters of support from all Carroll County towns, and that will strengthen your hand
Exactly.
yeah. this is
for the
exactly-
grants. And
We're gonna catch 22 right now because we need a building before we can get the money,
Right.
Mhm.
get the grants.
Mhm,
And we can't get the grants unless we have the building, so
mhm,
you know,
mhm.
we're in that situation.
Mhm.
And we need your support to get the delegate. The delegation is put aside in their budget over $500,000 to tear down the remaining two wings. Over $500,000 to turn down the wing that are perfectly usable.
Right.
And we worked very hard, Dorothy especially has worked very hard, along with her committee, to see that that doesn't happen. So we do need your support, and we would be very grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Yeah.
endorse a letter.
Sure.
I'm sure Bill would feel the same
That's
way,
great.
and we're a quorum anyway, so.
You
Yep.
You can frame a letter, and
I appreciate
I
that.
don't know how you're gonna do that. You frame a letter and just, you're gonna bring it to the delegation, or?
No, there's a, let me give you that.
I assume you've gone to the other towns already, right?
I have a letter already from my town.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I have gone to Conway, I'm awaiting theirs, because I had spoken to them about it
Mhm.
a year ago.
Mhm,
They're familiar with the program.
mhm.
I went to Bartlett. One of the gentlemen in the white suit that you saw on here, he's been to, I also went to Waltonboro. He's been to Wolfboro, Brookfield, Wakefield, Brookfield, Wolfboro, Tuftonboro. We still have, and Tamworth.
Mm-hmm.
We still have several to go to
Mhm.
before the office.
Well, if you've got something that can help us construct that letter, not necessarily as strong as a template, but just so we get all the high points on there.
I'll be
that-
glad to mail you something.
Great,
That'd be great.
excellent.
And I think I have.
Just send it right to our town office and we'll get it, and
Yes.
Be
I have a
happy to-
mailing address. I will send something in tomorrow morning.
Very good.
perfect.
And
Perfect.
I'd be appreciative.
And good luck with the
Yeah,
project.
definitely.
Thank you.
Sounds like
Thank
a
you for
real
everything you've done.
worthwhile endeavor.
Thank you.
Appreciate your effort.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To say thank you for your service is just an empty statement unless you can follow it up with something meaningful.
Well,
So,
we're happy to be involved with some support.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Oh,
Oh, I was hoping he was gonna leave that.
Alrighty. That's very good. Seeing the chief has arrived, we'll go back to item number 3 and bring up
There he is.
Apologize for being late.
That's all right, that's all right. Fines will be waived this time.
Thank you.
We know you're busy.
Welcome back. Hope you had a good time off.
Oh, yeah.
I just have a couple of items, not the least of which is budgetary related to us, as well as will be to the town crew. I went to the chief's meeting this morning, and I found that as of, I think the vote was a couple of weeks ago, so we're supposed to be doing it now. All municipal vehicles need to be inspected in September, which obviously, up until this year, it's always been March for registration and inspection. So for this year, 2015, each of our respective budgets is going to get hit twice for the same thing. And that will be, that'll continue on starting this year. We'll still need to have our vehicles registered in March, but they won't be required to be inspected until September, and I'm still not clear how that's supposed to work, because your registration and inspection go hand in hand.
Right.
I thought Karen said it was just a double hit 1 year, and then it was gonna catch up.
This year,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
but then
saying.
it was, okay.
This
So
year.
it's September moving forward.
And the reason that came about, I guess, is some of the larger departments, larger municipalities in the south, found that in March, they saw their vehicles being tied up with plowing and winter maintenance, and it was harder for them to get that inspection requirement done, so. That will be hit with us, as well as the town crew.
Now they're getting hit before the season starts, so at least they
That's
get
right.
proper check before they go out, I
Now,
guess.
I don't see how it's an imposition to anybody's budget at that time of year. If you've budgeted for it, then it should be there, but that was something else that came out. So, just to
It's a one-time deal.
let everybody know that this year it's gonna be twice.
The cost of a police vehicle inspection above and beyond what a normal inspection would run?
No, it's the same.
Same cost,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the same. Had a major event Tuesday night. We had a fatal motor vehicle accident up in Notch that involved an older couple who were passing through to Randolph and hit a moose. But the reason I bring that up is because it's important to get on, for me to get on the record and say that there were multiple agencies involved. There were the Jackson Police Department, Jackson Fire Department, the North Conway Ambulance, and the State Police. And it was interesting and very rewarding to know that you can show up on a scene with multiple commanders, and all the commanders are on the same page, get along, and just got the job done, and it was a very high, we operated at a very high level of proficiency. So it's important that everybody see that and recognize that, I think. We're looking forward to a pretty quiet couple of weeks. There's not a lot of new things coming on. I haven't heard of a lot of new regulations coming down from Concord, other than for now, the constitutional carry amendment to our pistol permit process was vetoed by the governor. Other than that, pretty much business as usual from the police department.
Great,
Thank you
excellent.
very much.
I drove up to that scene, or by that scene, shortly after it looked like if it was you, it was our car and or one of our police vehicles, and it looked like the fire chief's truck. Seemed like you two were the first ones on the scene, so
Yeah.
it's great to hear things were coordinated so well, but I also want to recognize that you were the two first responders, and that must have, it's nice to know we've got two people as highly qualified as you and Jay to show up.
Jay and I were there in just under 6 minutes from the call. And that's a pretty good response time.
Thanks again, Chief.
Sure.
Did you think things went good for the 4th and 5th of July fireworks? Because I remember last year, it was like all these people, and maybe it was because North Conway's didn't
It was.
time properly.
We saw
I
a
think it went,
definite decrease in the amount of people, definite decrease in the amount of cars. I knew it from a performance standpoint in my department, I knew it was gonna be obviously a learning year because these guys haven't had to get traffic out of the village. But I was extremely proud of them. They did a great job. Traffic kept moving. We didn't see any issues with the crowds or with the traffic. There were some issues with the actual fireworks themselves, which caused people to leave early. But other than that, I think all in all, it went very well.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And moving on to item number 5, public comments. I like the new parking spaces out there that were recently painted. I think those look good.
They're great.
Anybody else have any public comments? Yes, Chair?
Right around the time of last town meeting in the first of the year, there was some discussion about having a joint meeting between the planning board, selectmen, and the zoning board to discuss the issues that affect all of them. And I haven't heard anything about it, and I wondered if you guys could facilitate it or help make it happen.
Sure.
We talked about that briefly after we changed off the baton, and should it be the outgoing chair or the incoming chair? And I think, remember that conversation we had? It just seemed like it probably would be best to have it be the incoming chair, and I know that's on the agenda, and maybe
Yeah, we can put that together for sure.
it is a good idea now that things are in our summer mode here for that to happen. I think it was going to be about year in review, upcoming plans for each board and committee, and common issues of concern to bring people together and address that. I was actually thinking, I don't know, John, I mean, you'll know best, but if it's a night when the planning board's already meeting, because you and Dick are there, and
Right,
I think
it's a
that
2-for-1
Larry,
sale there.
although he's outgoing chair now, but I mean, get half of you in the same room on the same night, whatever works.
Yeah, that might work, yeah. But I know they're working on the master plan, and that's,
Right.
you know, we gotta get that put to bed pretty soon, and it seems to be almost there, hopefully. That's probably the only thing I think would hold that up, Jared.
At a meeting recently, I spoke to Frank Dinesh to see if he was still in favor of it, and he, not to speak for him, but he related that he was very much interested.
I saw him last night, he didn't mention it to me, I wish he had, but that's fine with me. I think we can get together with everybody. Just scheduling a time, you know, that's gonna be the tough one.
You want to put it on action items?
Yeah, we'll definitely put that on there, and,
It may be a good suggestion that when the planning board is meeting, that, to do it at that time, because I know that other schedules may be more flexible than theirs.
right. All right, so we'll see if, I'll talk to them tonight and see about setting up that meeting. Very good, thank you. Anybody else with public comments? All right, moving on to the building inspector, Kevin. How are you?
All right, we have a couple new building permits here. One's for a big bay window, I guess that's up on Ridge Road. And the one on Switchback is, we had a structure fire in, I think it was in February, and finally they settled with the insurance company, and they're gonna be rebuilding that part of the house. So that's gonna happen. And then the fire department had I shouldn't call it the fire department, it was actually the Old Town garage had a bathroom in there, and then the fire department took over the whole building. And this bathroom that was downstairs in the Old Town garage was just a plywood enclosed structure with a sink and a toilet, and it had some kind of loft on top for hold stuff or whatever. But I guess they started taking down the whole entire structure, and nothing was up to code. I mean, even the sink didn't even go into the septic. The sink was direct drive underneath the slab, I believe, and it wasn't vented, so some issues there, and didn't have a fan. So anyway, the new bathroom, I guess, is going to be up to code, and I think the town guys are going to frame it, which they can, and then we get licensed electrician and a plumber to do the rest of the work. So, and I don't think it's all going to get done this year either.
It's not gonna get done this year?
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's in the budget or not. I think it was just something that it's on the list to do some of this work, and they just started doing it, so. We have another bathroom upstairs, so, I guess it is kinda nice to have a bathroom downstairs, because like today, someone from the public asked to use the bathroom, and I had to send them upstairs, and, which is fine, but if you had one downstairs, you could just use that, not go up the stairs.
B?
How many bathrooms do we need? You have a new town garage. You have a bathroom upstairs in the fire station. They have 2 bathrooms here. You have the dugout in warm weather. You have the library. How many bathrooms? I'm just asking. If you're on the fire department of the highway, you ought to be able to walk upstairs. You shouldn't be on the fire department.
Yeah, I just hate to see something that, you know, obviously wasn't up to code in that, I mean, that sink, like you said, was just,
Yeah.
Just
Direct-
direct drive,
I know,
and
it's
just
just-
slab, I
I
think.
mean, you could shut it down, I suppose, I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah,
sort
we
of
didn't know
option.
that, I didn't know that, it was all hidden in the wall.
I know, so I mean, we could just
Continue
shut
to
down that
take it
bathroom and,
you
you know,
know.
close up and not make it a bathroom at all, I
Yeah.
suppose, technically. I mean,
Right. Yeah, they already did some plumbing on the floor, so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna be terribly expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, you know, worst case scenario, we can always get, you know, John always comes across brand new used toilets to dump, and same thing with sinks. And
Well, I like to kind of know how much it's gonna cost, I hate to, you know,
Yeah.
give you, you know, anybody a blank check to do something
I know,
like that,
yeah.
especially with town money, you know, it's like, hey, I like to know.
Well, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's not gonna be the, $63,000 bathroom. Right?
No, I'm not expecting a jacuzzi and a sauna in there either, but I mean, it's, you know, it's nice to know what, you know, what
They've
we're
already started it though, right?
What's
I
that?
mean, they've already started.
Yes, they did already
So-
start it, yeah.
They have a building
They don't need
permit.
permission.
That's what this is
They have
today.
a
That's right, right over, they got
Yeah,
the
without
building
signature.
permit,
Right.
they're gonna sign tonight, and I actually made plans for those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't involved in it, I mean, I went in there one day, it was demoed, and that's when I learned about it, so
Right.
I knew nothing about it. And,
Well, shouldn't you ask first?
so, there's a lot of that going around town anyway, this week I already, I caught another house without a permit, you know. The owner should have known, the builder should have known, and everything else, I was just driving by and stopped in,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, it wasn't like I was out searching for them, but you see 3 contractor trucks out, and then half the house is torn apart in front.
Yeah.
Where's your building permit?
You know, it's also town property, and you gotta do it by the
Well,
book.
yeah, that's what you do, you
Yeah.
gotta do it like everyone else does, so, but,
Well, I think that's why we've got a building permit in front of us, is to make sure we're
right.
doing things according to regulation.
I do think it's nice that it is on the first floor. It's not handicap access, but if someone wanted to use it, like in a wheelchair, they possibly could.
Well, that's another issue, do you have to make it handicap access, that's the
Well,
other thing.
that's just a
It's
no.
not handicapped in this 2015, can you do that?
I think it's a good idea if we have an opportunity to accept public comments when we're on this agenda item, but you kind of break it in here to a conversation. And I'm sure John will recognize anybody that's got their hand up at an appropriate time. Go ahead.
But it could be made handicap if it was needed. You just have to widen the thing a little bit. I mean, nothing's set in stone right now for
Yeah.
the construction, but,
I think maybe it needs a little more planning, because we don't have any, you know, dollar figure here for the permit itself, even though we don't have to pay ourselves for that, and we don't, you know, it's not
Are the
necessarily
plans on the
handicap.
back- are the plans on the back page?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just drew a rough plan for that, because they didn't have any plan. I said, where's your plan, guys? No plan, so I put that together really quick, and, you know, there's a washing machine in there. Well, the fire, NFPA requires fire departments to have a washing machine for their gear to wash, or anything else, so. And actually, they require a shower too, which we don't have, but that's a different story. Even if we had one, I don't even know it would be used, so. I mean, if someone got contaminated at a scene, we would just wash it
maybe that
down.
should be made into a shower or into
Well,
a
that's,
bathroom.
we talked about it, but it's the same thing, like I said,
If
some
that's
guy-
something we need, you know.
Yeah, I think it is a requirement, but like I said, I don't know how much it would be used. If someone did get contaminated with something at a scene, either we wash them down right there, maybe send them off with the ambulance, or just wash them down, send them home, but whatever.
Well, I'll provide my input and
Please.
start off by saying I'm totally supportive of what they want to do. I mean, that's pretty obvious from looking at that half-bath schematic that it's a pretty frugal design. It's designed to meet the needs of the fire department in a cost-effective way, clearly. I think I totally agree. It'd be nice to have a dollar amount estimate on there, and I'm sure we can get one. You looked at a washing machine there and a basin that are required to be there. I'd almost like to see bringing this bathroom facility up to code by adding a shower. If we're supposed to have a shower, we should feel like we have the means to invest so that we can meet regulations. Number one. Number two, 2 nights ago was a perfect example.
Yeah.
We had a moose fatality. That car could have caught fire. There could have been an inferno up there that our firefighters were going to have to put their lives on the line to battle.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more supportive of the fire department and the firefighters that we have on staff right now. And if it's something they need, I say give it to them.
Yeah, it's in the shower thing. They performed CPR on one of the patients, and a lot of people were covered in blood.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
that's
just
that's
very
what I'm
hard
saying.
to-
It's
Yeah.
Hard to.
Maybe one of them.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, he had it all over. So it's hard to decontaminate someone there on the scene, and
right.
Even if we don't
so.
put a shower in right here and now, it would be nice to see if there's a plan that could phase one in for a minimal expense
Right.
after we get our initial thing done. So maybe, and I don't even know, you're the one that knows more than I, but if this sink, is there room on the other side of the washer for that so that this could actually be a stall at some point?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right, yeah, there's different ways to do it. We
Right.
even talked about even just tiling the whole entire bathroom and, putting the shower right in there.
Uh-huh.
With the drain.
Right, put a floor drain in.
Yeah,
Bang.
so. the whole
That'd be
thing is-
great.
So, well, maybe we should talk to Jay about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can too.
And
These first responders are out there, they can putting their life on the line at a moment's notice, and I have no problem stepping up to the plate and providing them with whatever they need to do their jobs.
I think a shower is definitely something we should have in
Yeah.
there, without a doubt, if that's.
I'll ask the chief then.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, I said, it's, what we got in the budget for that too. I mean, we gotta see what.
Yeah, I think, I'm almost sure there's money in there. I think there was some building fund or whatever, those buildings over there, maintenance fund.
Maintenance funds.
Yeah.
Pete?
Don't you think you ought to get an estimate on those?
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we can.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have no problem putting that on an action item under my name, and I'll come back with a plan to include a shower facility on that, or we'll put one together
Yeah.
between now and next meeting, and get some sort of a generalized cost estimate to that,
Okay.
and
I'll let you talk.
see what we can do.
All right.
Stan, you had something you want to?
Thank you.
Hey, I'm really not in favor of signing this until such time we have a little firmer. Commitment on that. Sir? Yeah.
Just curious about the timing of it.
Yeah.
Is it, and obviously I haven't looked at your sketches or anything, but is the timing, is this a good time to be thinking about that in terms of, we're gonna soon be having a new fire truck in there?
Right.
And is that gonna require any reconstruction of the fire department to fit and that type of
No,
stuff?
eventually, yeah, I think in the past, the truck was supposed to be longer than it was, but now I believe this truck is still the same size as all these trucks, whatever it is, 34 feet. It'll fit in the bay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be like 36 or 38 feet or something, so,
That's good.
but it will fit.
It's
yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah, it is. All right.
All right, so table this?
Well, we might as well. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna make a motion if I can't get a second, we can't get 2 signatures on there. So, if we, plan to dot some of those i's and cross some of those t's between now and the next meeting, hopefully
Yep,
we
I'll
can get
talk
that
with
on.
the planners.
Great.
All right,
I'm,
okay.
I'm,
Yep.
going to be out of town at the next scheduled meeting. And
Okay.
Bill's gonna be here, so there will be a quorum, but I'll go on record right now as saying I'm supportive of that plan and whatever plan you bring in that you tell us you need.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I think that's it.
All right,
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
thank you very much. You see the abatement. All right, moving on to item new business. First are 2 abatement appeal reviews. You had a chance to go over these. These are, no change was recommended by Jason on these, so.
Mm-hmm.
You got any thoughts on it?
It seemed like Jason was, right in line.
Okay. All right, and I'll take a motion to sign these abatement appeals. One is for, let's see, is it utility pole? And the other one was V10-111. Take a motion for those.
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye. And it didn't get on the agenda, but I have one brief old business item I want to bring up when we get there.
Sure, gotcha. Do you want us to sign this one, or does it matter?
I'll attach the ones that
Okay.
Bill originally started with the rest of them, so that's fine.
All right, second item is the PA-16, which requires signatures. And
They're just trying to
Agree.
find the value of the forest service land.
the sort of assessed value.
Yep.
Okay, so take a motion, Bob, to sign the PA-16
So moved.
evaluation. All right, and I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Today is the 9th. Thank you. Item C on the list is an intent to cut. And this is for, where's the lot number there?
It's on the top
It's
left,
15-231-05T.
and then the lot's just below that.
And then right there, it's V10-147 is the lot, map and lots. Take a motion to sign the intent to cut.
So moved.
And I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's you.
All right, and last new business item is trustee of the trust funds, and motion there for you on the bottom, if you would.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and withdraw $9,800 from the Old Library Capital Reserve Fund to pay GMI Asphalt, invoice number 15-080, dated June 24th, 2015.
And I'll second that motion. Any discussion?
Well, I was actually gonna bring this up under old business, just
All right.
briefly, but this was the item that the old library renovation project now is complete with the paving of the church parking lot. And so it puts to bed the voter-supported town warrant article that provided $60,000 for that renovation project. Church couldn't be happier, old library committee couldn't be happier. One thing that has come up since we got involved in this renovation project is a recognition that it's time to paint the outside of the old library. And I think there was some hope at some point that there would be leftover money in the town warrant article to support that. Number one, that wasn't within the scope of services. And number two, there isn't leftover funding. And for the part of the reason that we were able to complete the project was because the church and the Protestant Chapel Association was so generous in how they worked with us, allowing us to hook into their water and septic, or we would not have had enough money to do the project.
Absolutely.
So I know that I spoke with Marjorie. She's on the old library committee. She's going to go out and get some painting estimates, and we'll look at them and see if there's a plan that can be put into place at some point in time to paint the outside of the building so that it's protected. But the project turned out beautifully.
And it brings up a bigger issue of building maintenance funds, having enough to do things like electrical, heating systems, cooling systems,
Right.
something come up.
Yeah.
Either doing some kind of fund for that in the future, but something to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to hear that that's all completed.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
No.
All right. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right. Any other new business from anybody?
Well, is that same as public comment?
We got public comments, but go ahead if you want. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just segueing into what you were talking about the old library building needs to be painted, the building maintenance fund. As a resident of Jackson, I feel like since that old library renovation is done and it's beautiful, that's a town building. The library is a town building. And I would assume that, it's July now, but as you're thinking of budgeting, that there should be a town of Jackson building maintenance fund in whole, not like necessarily per building,
Right.
but that fund would be created by the people that are on those building committees saying, hey guys, you need to expect that in 2016 we need to do this. And so like, okay, if this building, I'll use this building, the library, which is 5 years old, so in 2017, it's gonna need paint. So when the library trustees come to you and say, you need to put this in your budget for 2017, that's your job to know that, but we're helping you by telling you that. And I would think the same thing with the old library. Okay, we realize it needs to get painted, but that has to wait until get budgeted for next year. Is that how it works? Because that's kind of how I would assume, because they're town buildings.
Correct,
Yeah.
but then we have items that come up unexpectedly. That's a different
Exactly.
issue, but
Yeah, and
yes.
that's the whole
Yep.
slush, what you hope for, but, I mean, I would imagine that that's the kind of stuff that you would hope would get budgeted for. And then there's the unexpected stuff where maybe you have a general fund or, I'm just wondering kind of how you budget for the maintenance of these nice new buildings that now we as a town suddenly own.
Yeah. Well, it's things like painting roofs, usually you know those a year in advance, and you could ask for that money in advance and say, hey, we gotta put a new roof on next year or within the next 2 years, and, something like that. So you can go in as a warrant article possibly, or if it was just a separate budget item.
My history in the past is that those shouldn't really be separate warrant articles. That I just know, like, in the past, you didn't want to put money aside to save $40,000 for a new roof. We don't want to, do we want to always be putting $10,000 away every year? Maybe as in a personal household, that's what we do. But I don't know. I guess that's a question, is how does the town want to budget for those? A painting job could cost $5,000. Do we have to, is that a 1-year expense, and the roof we save for 3 years?
think both of those would be one-year expenses, but Bea, you gonna say something?
Well, if the library knows they need to be painted, they should go to the selectmen and say, when they're making the budget, so
Right.
they know.
Right.
Yeah, on their maintenance for the buildings that, okay, it needs painting, or this one needs a new roof, so they, when they're putting money away for maintenance.
So it goes into one big general building, town building maintenance.
Not
fund.
Not always, unless it's
It was
huge.
either last year or the year before that Jay broke out and had building maintenance specifically for the highway department and for the fire department. And then there's also a larger maintenance account that we have, like, under our office budget. So, but, I mean, maybe we should look into doing one for the old having those little funds, like, I think Jay put in 3,000 each or 5,000, something like that, for, that he could manage what those were every year.
Mhm.
And do something like that, and then have one larger one being under the same general maintenance of the office, or a capital reserve fund, something like that.
I think it would be better for the people who actually are in the building to make that part of their budget
Right,
process,
which
as
is
opposed
what
to
Jay
Jay,
was for-
because
Yeah,
AJ isn't gonna do the work, they're gonna sub it out anyways. It's just that they would be, have direct control
no,
of money.
Jay set up a building maintenance specific
Right.
for highway and
Right.
specifically for, is that what you're saying? No?
I would think that'd be just too many buildings. I mean, I'd rather just have it come.
Oh, just have, you're saying just have one?
If the library's gonna come with their budget and say, hey, we gotta pay $5,000 for a paint job, next year,
Oh, just have that booked into their expenses?
have that built into their budget, and we approve or not approve that based upon, our budgetary process, evaluation process there.
But I don't think that would not come into the library operating budget. Because the budget is what's within the walls, but we're talking about maintaining a town building. But I guess what I'm saying is, are we going to have the whole budget, which has, think of a Venn diagram, like all the little circles of all the little buildings, or because the selectmen said, yes, we're gonna build $12,000 into the budget for the roof in 2017, so then in 2017 you say, okay, I'm using that money now. And if I don't use it all, it just still stays in the town maintenance budget, and maybe you do use it for the emergency thing that you didn't plan for. I'm just wondering, how does the whole town general maintenance budget get created?
Well, I would think that, just for clarity's sake, you would want to, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but, say you wanted to have $7,000 for a paint job. Right? Yes, you have your library expenditures, whatever they are, and then just have a separate line item, $7,000 for a paint job. And if you spend $5,000, the $2,000 goes back in the general fund, and it's done. As opposed to using that $2,000 for somebody else's building. I don't think that's really fair to the taxpayer, because
Well, does the old library have its own separate account? You know what I mean?
Well, we can create a line item for that if that happened to be.
They set up a old library capital reserve fund.
Right. But now
Which maybe you're saying, let's set up a building maintenance capital reserve fund. And each year you fund X number to it.
that hadn't been well received in the past. So I'm just wondering how, the old library painting is a good example. And in 3 years, it's gonna be the new library painting example. Or a roof here, or whatever.
They're not
Just
issues.
question for thought. I've always wondered,
Yeah.
how are we budgeting for these upcoming capital expenses? And is it first come, first serve? You made a good point how you said, if the fire department said, we have $8,000 and that's just theirs, you can't use that for the old library.
Right.
It just
I never participate in conversations like this that come up in meetings because it's not on the agenda. Clearly, it's an agenda length issue that we're talking about, and it's not about the time that the conversation needs to take place, but we haven't had an opportunity to prepare to intelligently address these concerns. It's an agenda length item, and what I would like to do, because we've had 4 different people contribute to the conversation and we're brainstorming, and it's just kind of a on the fly thing, if we had a couple of weeks to prepare and put it on an agenda and get an
Good idea.
in-depth conversation to address all these issues, because it's an interesting topic. And I think if, I'll call your attention to last year's annual meeting. For the very first time in the town report, you saw a layout of capital improvements that were projections for when we needed cruisers, when years we felt we needed the next fire engine, the next plow truck, the next big plow, the next small plow. And I think by and large, people felt that was really helpful at putting the big picture in front of you at once to see how you're planning out. And to me, this feels the same way. Building X is going to need painting in year Y and all of that stuff that goes with it. It's a great conversation to have, and I would like to be prepared to have it when we do.
No, thank you, because like I said, it's just kind of as a public comment.
Right.
The old library is new now, you know,
Right.
so hopefully we can all plan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did have a note here from Jay. The paving will be complete tomorrow, and they have done work at the falls. Checked that out over there recently, but that's Jay's update. Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. Aye.